A very good morning to all of you. We are going to start your session now for the BEEE subject, and we will discuss about the DC circuit. Can you tell me that what we had discussed in our last session? Do you remember that? What we discussed in the last session? So, do you remember that what we had discussed in the last session? See, in the last session we discussed about the series parallel combination of the resistance, right? Yes or no? So in the last session, we discussed about this thing, series parallel combination of the resistance, and I hope you understand that if we have the many combination of the circuit in series parallel combination, how we will identify the equivalent circuit parameter, or we can say that we will identify the values of the current and the voltage. If it is asked in the example question, then you can easily identify it, right? So this thing we discussed in the last session. So this is the one of the example we discussed in the last session, right? Okay, so this example also we discussed in the last session. Yes or no? This is the example we don't discuss in the last session, but this is very easy to understand, and you can say that you can easily identify the values of the parameter. Is it so? So how you start the calculation? This is very easy example, right? So can you do it? So first of all, you have to do the series connection of this 1 and 5. Yes, the answer what I'm receiving right now, that is correct. So this is a very easy example. You can say that as per the discussion what we had in the last session, this is you can say that you can do easily. So first of all, what you have to do, you have to do the series connection of this two component and this two component. So this is you can say that it is 6 over here series connection. This is 10 here, and then after the 12 parallel 6, that is in the series with the 11, and then after it will be in the parallel with the 10. So you can see this is the equivalent circuit. You can see that over here. So first of all, 1 plus 5 and 3 plus 7 on the left. So you can reduce the circuit here, and you can do the parallel connection of 12 and 6. So that will be equal to 4. And 11 plus 4, so it is 15. And then after 10 parallel 15, so that is equal to 6. Understood? So this is, you can say that you can do the parallel combination of the resistance over here, as we discussed in the last session. This is the example we discussed in the last session too, right? Yes or no? This example we discussed in the last session. Yes or no? Okay. So first of all, 10 plus 2, that is parallel with the 6, that is series with the 8. Then after it is parallel with the 6, series with the 4, parallel with the 8, series with the 4, parallel with 8 and plus 6. So these are the steps formation that we already discussed in the last session. And the last answer what we received, it is 10. And this is the example, is the same type. You have to identify a few parameters over here. Like in this example, you can see this. You have to find out the equivalent value of the resistance first of all. Then after, you have to identify the potential drop over here across the V1, right? Or a V1 you have to identify here. And then after, you have to identify the current I2 here. So can you do it? First of all, tell me that what could be the equivalent value of the resistance between these two terminals? What could be R equivalent? What could be the R equivalent value? Can you identify the R equivalent value from this given diagram? Yes or no? So can you tell me that what could be your equivalent circuit or equivalent value of the resistance here? See, how you start this calculation. First of all, you can see this R2 and R3, they are in parallel. So you can say that R2 which is parallel with the R3, and then after it is series with the R1. So first of all, identify the 6 parallel to 13, right? So you can do like this also, 1 divided by R. This is between the point between, let's say it is A and B. So it is A and B, that you can assume 1 divided by 6 plus 1 divided by 13. And then after, you will get RAB. The answer we can get over here. So it is 19 by 78. Sorry, it is 78 by 19. Over here you have a 19, right? Divided by 78. So it is 78 by 19. And R equivalent, it is equal to what? 1 plus 78 divided by 19. Are you getting? So it is 97 divided by 19. This is your equivalent resistance value. Now, can you identify the total current over here, because you want to identify the V1? So what is the value of just a minute. So total current I1, is equal to the voltage divided by R equivalent. So R, sorry, it is 12 volt divided by 97 by 19. So it is 12 multiplied by 19 divided by 97. You can write the values in the fraction also. You can write the values in terms of the fraction also. That is not an issue. So it is around, can we say it is 2.35 ampere? So now can you identify the voltage V1 across the R1? That is equal to what? I1 multiplied by R1. So it is 2.3 volt. Sorry, 2.35 volt. Yes or no? You can write your answer in the terms of fraction also. That is not an issue, right? So V1 is equal to 2.35 volt as the R1 value is equal to 1 ohm. Now, see, this is, you can say that if we, up to here, we identify the value of current. Now, the last part that you have to identify the current flowing through the 6 ohm resistance here. So for that, either you use the current divider rule or the simple steps formation you can do over here, that whatever the voltage you have right now, that is given by the source. If you subtracting this value from the source, can you get the voltage here between these two terminal? Right or wrong? So we want to identify this I2 component, and for that we require the voltage between these two terminal here. The voltage between these two terminal that we identify is 2.35 volt. So can we say it is V3 terminal or V2 terminal here? So V2 is equal to what? The 12 volt which is supplied minus 2.35, that is equal to V3 also. So what is the value? 12 minus 2.35. So it is 9.65 volt. That is the voltage across 6 ohm and 30 ohm resistance. So can we now calculate I2? It is equal to what? V2 divided by R2. It is 9.65 divided by 6. So how much is the answer you are getting? The value of current component. What is I2? Can we say it is 1 point something the answer you are getting? Yes, it is 1.608. Yes, exactly. So this how you can do the calculation. So R equivalent, it is equal to 5.10 ohm. That is in terms of fraction written here. The voltage across R1, that is equal to 2.35 volt, right? And the last one that you can say that the value of current that is defined over here, it is equal to 1.608 ampere or 1.61 ampere, right? So are you now understand how we calculate this type of the example? Okay, so now if we go ahead, the voltage source component, I think this thing we discuss also. And see the V2, that's this is we identify across these two terminal. We have the voltage given over here. We have the voltage drop across this resistance of 2.35 volt. So whatever the voltage you have that is in between this branch or between across these two resistance, that we identify over here, that is of 9.65 volt. And then after I'm just apply the Ohm's law. That's it. Okay. Okay. So now if we go ahead, are you understand, Mohsin? Now about the voltage source, this is required right now because in the electrical circuit there are so many sources are represented. So first of all, understand the voltage source application here, that in general, whenever you say that there will be current flowing through the voltage source, the current can be positive, negative or zero. That will be depending upon how the source is connected into the circuit. So right now, we just identify that which type of, you can say that the voltage source are available in the electrical circuit. A few parameters we discussed in the last session, I think so. So first of all, the parameter which is given over here, that is the ideal independent voltage source. So what is the definition given over here? That the ideal independent voltage source will maintain a fixed voltage across its terminal, regardless of the current through it. So it doesn't matter that whatever the amount of the current is flowing, or we can say that it will be changed, but the source will remain fixed its voltage or terminal voltage across its. So this is the symbol of, we can say that the independent ideal voltage source. And the second definition over here, that ideal dependent voltage source, that is indicating what? It is also we call the control voltage source. It will maintain the voltage across its terminal, that will depending upon either a voltage or current elsewhere in the circuit. That means if the current is changed according to that, the value of the voltage is going to be maintained. So you can say that when you have this type of the voltage source in the circuit, you can say that it is the control source over here, or you can say that the control voltage source you have according to this symbol, and it will maintain the voltage across its terminal depending upon the value of, you can say that voltage or current that will be changed in the circuit. Are you understand? Is there any question here? If you have any question, please tell me. Is there any question here? Now the second source, it is the current source. In general, we can say that there will be a voltage source, sorry, the voltage across a current source. That means if you compare this thing with the voltage source, there will be current flowing through a voltage source. But you can see over here, the current source that will be written like, it will be, you can say that the voltage across a current source. So that voltage can be positive, negative, or zero, depending upon how it is connected into the circuit. Just like the previous part. When we say the voltage source, that means in general, what we say that there will be current through that voltage source, and the current can be positive, negative, or zero. That will be depending upon that how it is going to be connected into the circuit. Same way over here it is written for the current source, but whenever you say that there will be a current source, there will be a voltage across its terminal. So either that voltage will be positive, negative, or zero. That will be depend that how it is connected into the circuit. Now again, there are two types of the current source are available. Ideal, you can say that independent current source and dependent current source. So first definition given over here, that the ideal independent current source, it is indicating what it, the source will maintain a fixed value of the current through its terminal regardless of the voltage across it. So you can say that this independent current source will fix the current value through its terminal whenever, we can say that whether the voltage across it is going to be changed. So this is the symbol of, you can say that the independent current source over here. And the second definition, that is the dependent current source or ideal dependent current source. You can say that it will maintain the current through its terminal. That will depends on, you can say that either voltage or current elsewhere in the circuit. So it is just like the previous statement, but over here the current source, it will maintain or it will fix the value of current depends upon independent or dependent characteristics. And the symbol of, you can say that the dependent current source which is given over here, it is in this manner. So you can see over here across the current source you will have the terminal, or you can say that the voltage notation given here. And in the voltage source, you can see the current direction is also mentioned here. Are you understand about the direction and the terminology of voltage given over here? Are you understand up to here? If you found any difficulty, please ask. So can we go ahead now? Can we go ahead now? Okay. Now, as per our discussion, whatever we had done, this is the difference given over here or the comparison given over here for the series and parallel circuit. So you can see over here, there are few points which is identified over here for the series parallel circuit. You can say that the comparison given over here. So on the left hand side, you have all the series component, and on the right hand side, you have all the parallel combination. You can say that, or the parallel characteristics given over here. So first is what? The current in the same all way around the circuit. So in the series circuit, the current will be common, or you can say that the current is same. In the parallel circuit, the current will be split at the junction and it will be shared between the resistance. So just example given over here for the series 3 ampere at all the point in the circuit. But if you see that the current in the parallel circuit, it will be split from 12 ampere to 6 ampere at the junction. So this is just example given over here, that the first point given over here about the current. So in the series circuit, you can say that the current will be same at all the way around the point or all the way around the circuit. In the parallel circuit, the current will be divided, or it can say that it will be split at the junction, and that will be shared between the resistance. Now the second point, the second comparison point over here, that is, you can say that adding the resistance in the series increase the total resistance in the circuit. So second point, it will be indicating what? When you have the series connection, when you add more resistance in the series, the total resistance will be increased. But when you say the parallel combination, the second point, it will say what? When you add the resistance in parallel, then the decrease the total resistance value in the circuit. So this is, you can say that the difference given over here. If you found any difficulty, please ask to me. The example given over here like this, in the third point, the total resistance is the sum of individual resistance. That means 1 plus 1, it is 2. But if you say in the parallel combination, in the parallel combination, when you say that the total resistance, you can see over here, it will be half of the, you can say that it will be decreasing the total value of the resistance compared to the series one. Understood? So these are the third point over here, that how the total resistance is going to be increased more when you add more resistance in the series, and when the total resistance you identify for the parallel circuit, how it is going to be decreased. So that is given over here with this example. Now, if you see the fourth point over here, this is the third point, this is a fourth point. You can see the potential difference across each resistance that you can calculate is equal to, or you can say that by the V is equal to IR, right? And the potential difference across each resistance, that is also you can do over here. That means this is the process same you have in the series and parallel circuit. This is the process you have seen in the series and parallel circuit. Now, if you see the fifth point over here, it is talking about the potential difference. In the series circuit, the potential difference is shared between the resistance. That means the energy from the cell or the EMF, it will be shared between the resistance. And the example given over here, that EMF of 6 volt has split into 3 volt across each resistance. So it is just like you have a two resistance in the series. So that voltage, you can say that divided across each of the resistance value. And you can see the parallel one. As we discussed in the our practical example also, in the parallel circuit, the potential difference across each resistance will be same. And we can say that it will be same as the potential difference whatever you have given from the source or across the same. So you can say that it will given over here with this example also, that if you have the cell capacity of 6 volt, then it will be same across each resistance. They are connected in series. Sorry, they are connected in parallel. They are connected in parallel. That's why. Now, the major advantage is given over here of the parallel circuit in the last point, that if one of the resistance broken, the circuit would be broken instantly, no current will flow. But if you say that in the parallel circuit, if one of the resistance is broken, still the current is going to be flow from the second resistance. That means what? The current that would be smaller, because that we can say that whatever the resistance, it will be broken from the circuit. And that would be, now it is, you can say that the greater total current that will be flowing through the resistance in the circuit. So this is just the comparison point given over here in the advantage manner, that if you have the series connection, if one of the resistance is broken or it is going to be damaged, there will be no current flowing through that series circuit. But if you have the parallel circuit, in which if one of the resistance is broken, then the continuity, or you can say that the current still it is flowing from the other resistance in the parallel circuit. So I hope it is clear to all of you. These are some points I brought out over here for the comparison of the series and parallel circuit from our previous discussion. See the fifth point, it is given over here, like if you have a series resistance like this, you are giving a, let's say 6 volt over here, right? And let's say you have 1 ohm, 1 ohm resistance here, let's say. How much the current flowing over here? How much the current flowing in this series circuit. Just a second, I will draw again. 1 ohm resistance, 1 ohm resistance. This is a 6 volt source. So how much the current is flowing? Can we say it is a 3 ampere now? And as we said over here, in the series circuit, the current will be same at all the point. So now if you identify the voltage drop across this 1 ohm resistance, when you apply the Ohm's law, what will be the voltage over here across this 1 ohm resistance? Can we say it is 1 V is equal to 3 multiplied by 1? So it is 3 volt across the first resistance here. Can we identify the same value of the voltage here? Yes or no? So that 6 volt is split in the two part. But now if you say that you are connecting in this way, parallel combination, and you are connecting the source here, 6 volt again, 1 ohm, 1 ohm. So whatever the potential difference you have across this terminal, the same potential you will identify here as they are connected in parallel. Yes or no? So that is indication of the fifth point here, that in the series circuit, the potential difference is going to be shared between the resistance. That means you can say that it will be split into the two resistance here. But in the parallel circuit, that whatever the potential difference you will identify across the cell or across the source, the same potential difference you will identify across each of the resistance. They are connected in parallel. So that is the indication of the fifth point here. Now I think it is understood. Yes or no? All of you understood this point in the comparison point of view? If you found any difficulty, you can just ask to me. Okay. Yes, if you have any query, you can write it in the chat box section also. So now if we go ahead with the next point, that is the open circuit and short circuit analysis. Open circuit and short circuit analysis, and that actually indicating what? When you have any electrical circuit, if there will be some open circuit and in the circuit, yes, I will upload this PPT once the chapter is over or once the unit is completed. I will upload this PPT in the Google Classroom, and I hope all of you have accepted the invitation or you have joined the Google Classroom of this subject, because I already uploaded the syllabus into that. So you can find that also right now. Once the chapter or the unit will be over, I will upload this PPT, right? So now, as I told you that if in the circuit you found that there will be open or open terminal will be there in the circuit, how we analyze the circuit, that we are going to discuss here. If the same thing is happened with the short circuit, then what the analysis we are doing, so that we are going to discuss here now. So you can say that there are 5 differences you will identify when the circuit will be open or short circuit. So very first point you can see, if you say that if any circuit will be open, in that case, can we say that the current will be zero? Let's say you have resistance or you have a series circuit like this. Now if I'm say that, sorry, now if I say that can we say that the current is flowing in this circuit now? Because of this link is open here, can we say that the current is flowing? No, there will be no current flowing in this circuit because there will be no closed loop path over here, or there will be no closed loop circuit here or closed circuit here. So this circuit is indicating the open circuit. So that's why the current is equal to 0. But when you say that, instead of this circuit, when I say that, the opposite thing, like if you sort all the resistance in the circuit, can we say that the current will be infinite? Yes or no? Are you understand in the first point? Please tell me if you have any question over here. Do you have any questions here in the first point of the difference, that the current is passing through an open circuit, that is equal to 0? When the current is passing through the short circuit, that will be infinite. Yes, I think this is understood now. See, the short circuit, it is actually indicating what? Just a minute. Let's say if I have an original diagram like this is my original diagram, right? Now, if I'm say that the 6 volt given over here, 1 ohm resistance here, 1 ohm resistance here. So can we say that in this condition, the 3 ampere is flowing? Yes or no? In this original diagram, the current of 3 ampere is flowing from all the resistance right now. Yes. Now, if I say that both the resistance, you can say that it will be sorted because of certain, you can say that a fault in the condition. If it is sorted, so that all the 3 ampere, can we say that it is depending upon the value of this internal resistance of the source, it will be flowing? You can use this in the parallel circuit also. That will be make a very much clearer difference over here. Suppose you have a parallel circuit like this. Let's say the same thing if you identify here. 6 volt, 1 ohm, 1 ohm. So how much the current flowing here? Can you tell me? This is 1 ohm, 1 ohm in the parallel circuit. What is the total current flowing here? First of all, you will identify the R equivalent value. What is R equivalent value you have? It is 0.5, right? It is of 0.5 ohm. And the total current, it is equal to what? 6 divided by 0.5. So it is 12 ampere. Now, this 12 ampere is flowing here, and that it will be divided in a 2 part, like 6 ampere here and 6 ampere here. Can we say that? As the resistance is equal, can we say that 6 ampere it is flowing here in both of these parallel resistance? But by the chance, we can say that if one of the resistance is short circuited, what will be effect now? If this one is short circuited, can we say that all the current is flowing of 12 ampere here? Yes or no? So that is, you can say that if you have short circuited both of the resistance, so because of this internal resistance of the source, it will be flowing the infinite values of the current. Understood? The source have something internal resistance value. So because of that, it will flowing some infinite values of the current. That is, we can say that in the case of short circuit phenomenon. Now, the second case over here, when you have the open circuit, that will be possess, you can say that infinite resistance, and that you can identify by the using of Ohm's law also. R is equal to V by I. So in the open circuit case, can we say that it is I is equal to 0? So this is what? Can we say it is infinite? Because in the first point we derive that for the open circuit, the current is equal to 0. Right? So the resistance in the open circuit, that will be say that it is the infinite resistance. For the short circuit condition, the current will be infinite. So can we say that the resistance will be 0 now? Yes or no? So this is about the second point. The third point, voltage through the short circuit is equal to 0, while the voltage across the short circuit is, sorry, this is not exactly written. The voltage across the short circuit is equal to 0. The voltage across the open circuit, this is not short circuit, this is open circuit, that will be the maximum. I will show the diagram also, and that you can understand very well. Like when you have any short circuit, let's say in the original diagram, you will identify the voltage here, right? Because you have the resistance here. But if I'm say that if it is open terminal over here, you can get the maximum value of 6 volt if I'm giving from the source. That exactly value will obtain here. But if I'm short circuiting this thing, in the short circuit case, what will be the resistance value? In short circuit case, what will be the resistance value? So when I apply V is equal to I into R for the short circuit case, R is equal to 0. So V is equal to also 0. Yes or no? For the short circuit case. And for the open circuit case, you can say that whatever the voltage you will get at the open end, that will be exactly equal to the amount of the voltage you are supplying from the source. So that is about the third point given over here. And the fourth point, that an ohm meter connected to a short circuit, that will be display 0. That means the same thing, it is written the point number 2. The point number 2 given over here, we're using the measurement instrument, ohm meter, that means for the resistance measurement. So for the resistance measurement, if you identify that short circuit, in the short circuit case, when you identify or the resistance is equal to 0, then the display will be indicating 0 value. While we are connecting the ohm meter across that open circuit display, then you can say that, or sorry, in the open circuit case, then it will be display infinite or 0L. That means it is indicating the infinite value. Understood in this 4 point? Do you have any query here? So shall we go ahead now if you understand this thing? Okay. And the fifth point, practically, short circuit happen when the low resistance wire is connected across the circuit. And open circuit occur when the circuit break from some point. So this is the practical approach given over here, that if you have any wire which is having a low resistance value, then we can say that it will be look like the short circuit happened in that circuit. And when you say that when the break wire is break, then it is look like the circuit is break from that point. So now I will show you some of the diagram here. This is, you can say that, open circuit case. If there will be a component disconnecting from this two terminal, then you can say that this is the connection of the open circuit case. A short circuit case in which the component are connecting with the very small or the zero resistance wire, just like this. So this is what we call the short circuit case. I hope that is now it is clear to you according to this diagram what is open circuit and what is short circuit. So you can see over here between these two red terminal, if the wire is breaked or there will be disconnection of the component, then you can say that it is open circuit case. And if the wire having the low resistance value or zero resistance value, then you can say that it is the look like a short circuit case here. Now, whatever the thing we discussed in the or in the previous part that is given over here, that when you said about the open circuit, the resistance, you can say that it is infinite, and for the short circuit you can say that the resistance will be zero. So you can say that the resistance for the open, that is tends to infinite, for the short circuit it is tends to zero. And in the our first part, in the difference part, whatever it is given, that if you have the ohm meter, that means the resistance measurement device, and if you are connecting across, you can say that the short circuit, then you can say that it will be display zero. If you connecting across the open circuit terminal, then it is, you can say that it will be identified as a infinite, right? So most of the multimeter manufacturer displays 0L for the open circuit. So just remember this thing. I think it is clear to you now. Same thing it is given for the current over here. So when the current, if you are talking about the current is always require a path to flow. That means the current will always require a closed path to flow. So if it is open, there will be no current or no electron will flow from one terminal to the other terminal. So the resultant current will be is equal to zero. Similarly, the resistance is other current controlling factor according to the Ohm's law. So if you have the higher resistance, means what, the lower current value. So in case of open circuit, the infinite resistance means the zero current will be value will be there. We just apply the Ohm's law. And if you have the zero resistance, that means you have infinite current value. So all this thing, it is based on the equation of current is equal to V by R. If you say that for open circuit, you can say that it will be infinite, then the current is equal to zero, right? When you say for the short circuit, when for the short circuit R is equal to zero, then the current is equal to infinite. That's it. Yes, this is the same thing written here. So you just apply the Ohm's law, I is equal to V by R. So for the current in the open circuit case, the resistance, you can say it is infinite, the current will be zero. For the short circuit case, the resistance is zero, the current will be infinite. Understood? Yes or no? Are you understand up to here? Is there any question you have? You can ask. Okay. And same thing it is given for the voltage also, as we discussed. Just a second. Okay, so this is given over here for the voltage condition as we discussed using that diagram. So you can see over here the same statement given that voltage across the short circuit is 0 and voltage across the open terminal that is equal to the supply voltage. So same thing given over here using this diagram also. You can see this diagram. So the statement given over here, it is saying when for the open circuit, there is nothing to attach to the terminal, that means what, the circuit is open. So you can see over here, this is what we call the open circuit. Can we say this is open circuit over here? According to the statement, when there is nothing attached to the terminal, the circuit will be open. And for the open circuit, the resistance will be infinite. So voltage across that terminal, that you can identify the open circuit case. So can we say this is also, we call the open circuit, this terminal or this case? Can we say this is open circuit? It is not open circuit because is there any element connected over here? Is there any element connected here in between these two terminal? It is not anything connected over there. So we cannot say that for this condition, this is, you can say that open circuit case or anything, it is doesn't matter over here. If there is no element connected between these two terminal, whether you find out the voltage or not, that is doesn't matter over here. But if you see this case where the 18 ohm resistance is left open, one terminal of this 18 ohm resistance is open. So can we say that it is open circuit case? Yes, the current will be flowing through that 18 ohm. Right now it is 0 because as the terminal is open, no current is flowing. And as the no current is flowing, the resistance will be infinite. Now, if we say about the short circuit case, in this condition, there is a wire connected between the terminal and that resistance will be having a zero value. So you can see in this diagram, the short circuit case given over here at across the 22 ohm resistance. You can see this thing. Across 22 ohm resistance, there is a wire connected, right? So can we say that it is a short circuit case? Yes or no? So this is what we say that it is the short circuit condition. There is a wire connected between the terminal and the resistance of that wire, it will be equal to zero, right? Or RL will be zero. So whatever the current it is there, it is flowing through that wire only. That is we call the short circuit current. So in this case, no current flowing through the 22 ohm resistance. All the current is passing through this short circuit wire, or short, you can say that this wire only, because this wire having a lower resistance value. And as we know that the current will select the lowest resistance path to flow. So no current is flowing from the 22 ohm resistance. All the current is passing through this short circuit wire only. Understand? Yes or no? So this case will happen over here. Across this terminal, if you see, there will be no current flowing. That means the existing of that resistance is doesn't matter over here. Same thing you can see over here, as the short circuit wire is across the 22 kilo ohm, or sorry, the 22 ohm resistance, and as the wire is connected across that terminal, the existence of that 22 ohm resistance is doesn't matter in the circuit, right? So the analysis which is written over here, you can see this analysis. The bottom line, that is the conclusion given over here, that if there is a wire across a resistance, that means short circuit case, the current in it is zero, and we can replace it with the open circuit, like the 22 ohm resistance. Right now it is given over here, it is open circuit over here, and we can also remove it. If the resistance is hanging with nothing connected to it, like 18 ohm resistance given over here, it is connected only with the one terminal, the other terminal is left open. That means if the resistance is hanging with nothing connected to it, the voltage across it equal to zero. That means it is talking about the voltage across that resistance equal to zero. So we can replace with the short circuit. Are you understand up to here? If you have any question, you can ask in the chat box section also. Do you have any questions here? Okay, so everybody just note down your enrollment number into the chat box section now quickly. It is time to end the session here. So everybody just write down the enrollment number into the chat box section quickly. So today we discuss about the example as well as the analysis of the open circuit and short circuit. Also we discuss the comparison between the series and parallel circuit. In the next session, we'll discuss about the different laws like a Kirchhoff current law and voltage law, how it is going to be applied in the circuit. And then after we discuss about the nodal and mesh analysis. So I hope whatever the discussion we had today, that is, you can say that it is meaningful for you, and that will be helpful for the future also. So thank you so much for attending this session. Now, if you have already written your enrollment number, you can leave the session now. Those who have already written their enrollment number, they can leave the session now. If you have left, then you can write your enrollment number and thereafter you can leave. So Dharya Joshi, Meet, Nandan, Subham. Do you have any questions here? So after writing your enrollment number, you can leave the session. Dharya and Nandan, do you have any questions here? Okay, so I am ending the meeting here for all. Thank you so much.